I've built two multiple seven-figure businesses without spending a single penny on advertising. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can do the exact same. So if you've been struggling to grow your business, if you've been trying to do all the things that the quote unquote gurus are teaching you to do, you've been posting on social, you've been creating content, you've been cold calling or cold emailing, but nothing seems to be cutting through the noise, this video is for you. Hey, it's Wayne, founder of Ugly Mug Marketing and author of Full Circle Marketing. And in this video, I'm gonna give you the three-step formula that's enabled me to build not just one, but two multiple seven-figure businesses without spending a penny on advertising. Yes, you've heard that right. And so this three-step formula has the power to transform you. It has the power to break you through to that next level with your business. So if you've been struggling, if you've been hitting these thresholds where you just, no matter what you do, no matter how much time, how much energy, how much effort you spend, you can't seem to get through to that next level, I want you to keep watching because you're going to learn in this video three very specific things that will take you from where you are today to seven figures or more. And here's the thing, these are so counterintuitive to what everyone else is doing. And that's probably part of the reason why they work so well. So the very first thing, the very first pillar in this three-step formula is simply this. You have to understand the way everyone makes purchasing decisions. And we call this the natural progression, the natural progression. So let's take a look real quick at how this works. So at the very top, you have strangers. So these are all the people out there in the world who you believe would benefit from your product or service. So that is step number one. You have to get clear about who these people are. Now, your very first goal when you think of marketing is to convince these strangers to become your friends. That is a step that you need to take. And the way you're going to do this is you have to get them to know about you and you have to get them to like you. Step number one. Step number two is we have to take our friends and we have to turn them into customers. Now, the way that you turn your friends, those who know about you and who like you, into customers is this magic word called trust. When these people trust you, when they believe that your product or service is going to be of more value to them than the money they part with, then they are going to trust you and they're going to pull out their wallet and hand you money. Now, everything that you see over here, this is what we think about when we think about traditional advertising, right? So when we're doing the social media posts, when we're doing all those various things that, the quote unquote gurus tell us to do, it's all on this side. It's all designed to get people to know about us, to like us, and to trust us so they'll pull out their wallet and hand us money. My question for you is, how is that working for you, right? I bet you're like so many others that I hear from where you're frustrated because you're doing all the things. You're showing up and you're posting on a regular basis. Maybe you're going to the networking event. Maybe you are running ads. You're doing PPC or you're doing social ads, right? None of it seems to break through the noise and break through the clutter. And here's why. That's because everybody is doing this side of the equation. Everybody is trying to do the same thing. And years ago, when I started my first company, I simply didn't have the money. I had no money to do any of these things, right? This was before social media. So the only way to reach these people back then, you had to use television, radio, print, or billboard, something like that. And those cost a lot of money to do. And fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, I don't know, for me, I didn't have the money. So it forced me to do things differently. And that's when I discovered the power of creating evangelists for my business and for my brand. This next step is when you have customers, we want to turn them into evangelists for us, right? So an evangelist is someone who loves your product or service so much that they're willing to what? Go tell their friends and family about you. That is what an evangelist is. So the question for you, wherever you are in your business, whether you're just starting today or you've been in business for years, the question is, how do you create evangelists for you? And the key here is they have to love you. They have to love your product. They have to love your service. They have to love your business and what you stand for. So if you're just starting out, you may not have customers, but you've got friends and family. You got people who love you, who trust you, who are willing to go out and share with their friends and with their family on your behalf. Now, if you've been in business for a while, you've got some customers. The question is, have you done a good job of converting them into evangelists for your brand? And the answer is probably not. And that's okay, because I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do now with these final two pillars in this progress. So step number one is we have to understand that everyone is focusing on the advertising piece on this side of the equation. You, my friend, are going to focus on this side of the equation because number one, very few people are doing it. So how do we create evangelists? How do we get them to go out and share and talk to their friends? That is what I'm going to share with you in these next two important points. So we know that they have to love us, love our product, love our service, love our brand in order to become an evangelist. And then once they're an evangelist, we need to make it easy for them to share. So two key points there. Number one, we have to ensure that we exceed their expectations. And number two, we have to make it easy for them to go tell others about our products and services. So how do we do that? That brings me to the next point in this blueprint, in this framework, and that is this. We have to get crystal clear on the expectations of our customers. And I call this the expectation litmus test. And so what that simply means is this. You have to go through and you have to identify, what does a reasonable person have the right to expect in doing business with you? So what you're going to do is you're going to write down the side of a sheet of paper all the different things, all the different ways that someone's going to interact with you. A customer is going to interact with your business during the process of purchasing your product and experiencing your product or service. So number one, let's say they pick up the phone and call. So what do they expect? What does a reasonable person have the right to expect? Well, they expect you to answer the phone within 3 rings. Okay. So we established that. Let's say that they go to your website and they order on your website after they talk to you. So they go to your website. How long do you think a reasonable person should have to wait for your web page to load? Shouldn't be long, right? So let's just call that 3 seconds, right? So 3 seconds, because they don't want to wait around. Something may be wrong with your site if it takes longer than that. They order from you. How long does a reasonable person have the right to expect for your product to arrive at their place? So let's just call that product delivery. How long do they expect? And let's just call that 3 days. Again, I'm just making up numbers here. So what you're going to do though is you're going to go through and list all of the ways that someone's going to interact with your business. You're going to establish their expectations for working with you, for experiencing your brand, experiencing your product or service. And this is why this is so important. Oftentimes we make assumptions here. We just intuitively assume that we know what their expectations are. And this is a key point. You cannot exceed expectations if you have not clearly identified and labeled those expectations from your customers. Again, you cannot exceed those expectations if you have not identified and labeled what their expectations are. And the only way to get people to become evangelists is to exceed those expectations. So until we've identified those expectations, we have no hope of exceeding those expectations for them. So once you have this list in place, we can now audit ourselves to determine if we are meeting, exceeding, or not meeting expectations. And if you're honest with yourself, what you will discover, there's a lot of little ways that you are not meeting core expectations, or maybe you're just barely meeting those expectations. And your job, if you want to be able to scale and if you want to be able to grow your business to 7 figures and beyond, is you have to create evangelists. And the way we're going to do that is by exceeding those expectations. So go through and create this expectation litmus test and be honest with yourself that you may have some areas where you need to improve. You've got to get better. And that's okay, because that is a core part of creating evangelists for your brand. Now, the last pillar in this formula, in this framework, that's going to enable you to go from over here competing with everybody else, trying to stand out in this crowded marketplace, to over here where you're constantly creating evangelists, is simply this. You have to create shareable experiences for your customers and clients. Shareable experiences, right? We need to make it easy for these people that we've created to go share with their friends, with their family, with their coworkers, and whoever that may be. So you have to engineer, based on your product or service, ways that you can show up so that you stay top of mind and that you reinforce their love for your product or service. So let me give you some ideas here on how you can do this. Number one, think about your customers here. You can send them birthday cards in the mail. Simple, basic idea. But you know what? No one else is doing it, right? Think about all your competitors. How many of your competitors actually send their customers or their clients birthday cards in the mail? I'd be willing to bet that number is next to 0. So this, my friends, birthday cards is a simple way to reinforce your customers' love for you. It's also a simple way so that when the card arrives in the mail, they can share that with other people. We recommend, if possible, send that birthday card to them where they work. Send it to them where they work, right? Why? Because they are naturally in a place where they can share and tell with other people. If you send the card to them at home, it's just their family around, so there may not be any other customers for you there. Send it to them at their place of business. Another thing that you can do is think about the experiences that people have when they come into your place of business. Can you offer bottled water? Can you offer candies or their favorite dessert or their favorite snack? So here's a couple things that we do here at Ugly Mug Marketing to really help our customers feel the love and to create a memorable and shareable experience. Number one, we have this little chalkboard, and when people come to our office for a meeting, we write on the chalkboard, welcome, and we write their name on that chalkboard in some creative font, and it looks really cool. So we put that outside our front door, so when they're coming in, it's the first thing that greets them as they come in. The next thing we do is we often discover, before they come in for their first meeting, we discover what's your favorite candy or your favorite snack. And then what we do is we ensure we have that waiting for them here in the office. So for you, think for a second, how can you show up in meaningful ways to your customers and to your clients, ways that to them and for them are unique and shareable? Another simple thing that you can do when it comes to showing up in meaningful ways is think through the anniversary of your product or service. So if you sell something that is installed or something that's purchased and it's a big purchase, maybe it's a new car, or maybe it's something as boring as heating or air conditioning unit in the home, right? You could send an anniversary card for that thing. So a birthday card for the 1-year anniversary of them buying the car. It could be a birthday card for the 1-year anniversary of their new AC unit, right? Congratulations, your air conditioning unit turned 1 today. Here's a little token of appreciation. And maybe you include a $5 Starbucks gift card, or maybe you include a small token of appreciation to a local restaurant or something like that, right? There's a lot of ways that you can show up in small, meaningful ways for your customers. And so those are the 3 core pieces that you have to understand if you want to build a 7-figure business without ever spending a penny on traditional advertising. Number 1, you have to understand this. You have to understand the natural progression and how everyone is competing on this side of the equation. This is where all the money is being spent, meaning there's so much room, there's so much opportunity for here. So a simple thing you can do is look at all your marketing and advertising budget and ask yourself, what percent of my budget is going to this side of the equation and what percent of my budget is going to this side of the equation? And I would challenge you to move more and more of your money to this side of the equation. When you do, it will return to you multiples of what your dollars over here will return. Why? Because we have the multiplier effect in evangelists. It only takes one evangelist to reach multiple people over here, right? So that's a simple thing to think about when it comes to your marketing dollars and how you approach your marketing dollars. The second piece was that is go through the expectation litmus test. Make sure that you are exceeding expectations. And then the final thing is look for ways to create shareable experiences for your customers. If this video is helpful to you, be sure to follow for more because I've got more great content coming your way in the near future. Until next time.